Hey, I'm Sharon Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm on my gratitude page and I'm going to do a really basic urban sketch outlining a few little techniques. And the reason I'm doing it on my gratitude or I am so grateful page is because I am really grateful that I can be creative. I didn't start back into art until I was in my late 40s, and it was something that I always felt I wanted to do, didn't think I could do it, I'm no good, I'm not talented, haven't got a creative bone in my body, all that blah blah. And when I got back into it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I went through all the, oh, that's no good and I'm not good enough and I really still can't draw. And then you get past that and you go, you know what? It doesn't matter. I draw for me. I don't do pictures for anybody else. If I choose to sell a painting, cool. But I don't do commissions. I don't like that pressure. It doesn't work for me, and that's just who I am. But I love that I am creative, and I've taught urban sketching for a few years now, and what I've really learned out of teaching was that everyone can do it. It's just this that stops us. So how about start with feeling creative by being grateful that you can, because you really can. You can either say I can't or I can. And as soon as you give it a go, as soon as you do a bit of practice, voila, you can do it. How cool is that? So take the pressure off yourself and just do it for yourself. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't take any comments from anyone else unless you feel confident in yourself, and do it for here. All right, so let's go. Let's do a little basic picture. Okay, so I'm going to do it in my hard copy journal. And so I've decided I'm going to do a landscape picture, just a basic scene because I want to show it to you, but we're going to do it on a portrait page. So that just makes it a little bit challenging for us, but I wanted to do it in the journal. So a couple of things that I've really learnt when teaching is, one, if you don't have a box that you're working in, it's actually a really good idea to draw one. So say you've got a piece of paper and you just put 4 dots and you just put a line between them, and that's where you're going to draw. And the reason you do that is it helps you sort of contain where you want to have it. When you're doing a landscape or anything, if you start here and work across, you find that you sort of fall off the paper sometimes, especially if you're like me, who doesn't like to put a lot of planning into it. We just like to do it for fun. So having the box around it really helps. Another thing that is a really good idea is just think about your paper in thirds. Now I'm just sort of doing a light line on it with a watercolour pencil so I can take it off later. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Let me just bring that up a little bit more. So basically what I've done is a third line down here, 1 here, and then 2 like that. And that gives us 4 cross points. And this helps us lay out our picture, because when we look at a picture, if we do our horizon line right through the middle, we technically cut it in half, our picture. And sometimes when we look at a picture, we don't know quite what's wrong with it, but it can be that it's just not laid out very well. So a simple thing is you have your thirds, you put your horizon line either down here or up here, and the idea is to get your eye to go around a paper. So with these points, we sort of flow it around. We just loosely keep them in mind. It's just a little guide for you. It's not a make or break, but the horizon line through the middle of your picture is a bit of a make or break. And if you're doing something, say you're going to put a telephone pole in or something, and you're putting it right in the middle, it'll just, your picture goes like that. Your eye doesn't know where to go. So keep in mind your eye going around a picture. And sometimes that's why you see, like, there might be a little bit of sky up here and there's a bird in it or something like that, because it's all about bringing your eye around. Anyway, we're going to do a really simple little landscape that everyone can do. So now I'm going to put my horizon line sort of straight across there. But say I want to put a bit of a hill there, and say there's some more mainland behind it, and then there's another little bit there like that. So I've got three sort of going off into the distance. And I might even want to put a little bit of an island in here. I mean, there's nothing stopping you doing whatever you choose, is there? So I've got my land up here. So what am I going to put down here? Well, in my view, it's all boats. So I'm going to put some very simple boats in. I'm going to think about which way is the boat facing, because if you look at boats sitting on anchor out in the bay, the wind keeps them all going one way. So they've all got to face one way. If I had one pointing this way and one pointing this way and one pointing that way, my picture just would look wrong. It's a different story if they've got their sails up and it looks like they're racing, but if they're just sitting on the pick, then they need to point the same way. They also need to get bigger as they come closer. So I'm only going to put a few boats in. I've got this over here, so I'm going to bring it around. So I'm going to just, and you could see I literally just scribble these. I'm going to make this one a little bit of a bigger boat. So he's got a bit of a bigger mast. Put another mast down there. And then I might put another one sort of here, you know, and that's it. And then what might else I do? I could actually sort of just do some palm thongs coming off. Like, why not? And we could do these really simple. Now, a palm leaf is interesting because when you look at it, it's got, you know, like that. Can you see that? But when you do it on a picture, often it's sort of more like that. Does that make sense to you? So let's try that again. So I'm going to go, because it's just got the leaves coming down both ways. Just look, you just do it until you're happy with it, really. And you can see then I start scribbling, because I don't need it to be neat. That's just my little palm tree. Now I've got a bit of a hole here, so as you can see I'm starting here. I want my eye to come around like that. Okay, I've just had a look outside at my view. I'm very lucky at the moment. I've got a stunning view, and I've had just a couple of kayakers go past. So to be honest, I've never actually drawn anything like that. So let's just make it, and he's got a paddle. And do we want another one with him? Sure, why not? I think we'll make the paddles go the same way, just so they're on the same stroke, so it looks the same. And we could also, we're coming around like this, we could have put these a little bit more over this way, that's fine. And we might even just put a couple of birds in. Oh, why not 3? There we go. And there, how quick was that? How easy? A really simple urban sketch. And then we just throw a bit of colour on it. So I've got my water and my brush and my lovely messy palette, and I'm going to throw, oops, put my brush the right way. I'm going to throw a little bit of cerulean blue. Now I like to do my sky first, generally, only because I like to keep it in the background, and if I put it in later, it sort of doesn't really stay in the background. And I put a little bit too much water on. So let's just put a little bit of colour there. And then I'm going to grab my other trusty tray, and I'm going to do these hills, but I'm going to do them in purple, because when you look across at hills in the distance, they're not really green. They can be all sorts of colours. So I'm doing a really light purple on my hills, and I will just
make them slightly darker as they dry. I'll just put a little bit more on these front ones. So when you start painting, you start looking. And when you look, you see that the land, this one in front, is darker. And then it gets a little bit lighter and lighter still. And that, doing that depth of hue, that depth of shade through these is what will push it back. So at the moment, they all look pretty well the same. But if I put a little bit more colour onto the front ones, and this time I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this one, mainly because I'm being a little bit careful. I don't want to put any more water on this paper. So we're going to bring that forward, because our hills can look blue, especially in Australia, because we have so many gum trees. It does make it, give it a sort of a bluey shade. And then just a light there, like that. Now, what do you think? Can we see it? It's a bit hard, the paper's bubble. Getting a bit closer there. And then we're going to do, again, we're going to try not to put too much, we're going to try and not put too much paint on. And because it's an urban sketch, you don't need to put much. We just want a bit of a suggestion of where our ocean is. And again, when you start looking, you see that your horizon, the ocean is normally lighter, and the more you come forward to the front of your picture, the darker it gets. So we're just going to put a little bit of a blob like that. And it gets a little bit tricky. I'm doing it in front of a camera. It's right in my way. I'm getting used to it, but it does make a bit of fun. All right. So, and then we've just got these palm trees. Well, you know, palm trees, when you look at them, are greens, all sorts of shades of greens with yellows and orangey browns in them. So there's a lot happening. But you can just, what I generally do with palm trees in an urban sketch is just put a little bit of yellow in, and then get a little bit of green. And you can see I'm letting the ink tell the story, and sometimes I might even put a little bit of blue or purple just to give it its shadow areas. That's really all I'm going to do there. And do my boats need any colour on them? Well, no, because most boats out there are white. So what I've done on my urban sketch is I've just wanted to capture the scene. I don't need to make it perfect in any way. I don't need to do anything else. I just want to enjoy that beautiful scene that I'm so grateful for. So there you go. If you enjoy these little videos, please subscribe down below to my channel and push the notification bell. Otherwise, for some reason, I don't know, it doesn't seem to work. Otherwise, catch me over on Facebook and the private group Creating Vision Journals Together, and I'll see you there. Love to see what you do. Alright, any comments, leave below, and if you think anyone's interested, please share. Otherwise, I'll catch you next week. Have a lovely weekend. See ya.